So in this lecture we will try to see how we can work on drop downs in Selenium. Okay, so drop down are UI elements that allow users to select options from a list. Alright, and we mostly deal with two types of drop downs. Okay, so the first one that we have is, it is known as static drop down. Alright, so in here we have got predefined options. Example, select tag. Alright, and then next one that we have is, it is known as auto suggestive drop down. Alright, and in here options filter dynamically based on input. Alright, in this lecture we shall see for static drop down implementation. Take drop down implementation. Alright, so in here you have to consider few key points. Okay, so when you work on static drop down, okay, first you have to have this drop down identification. Okay, so in here you can use locator to identify drop down. Okay, now next that you have is, we need to use select element class. Okay, and wrap the drop down element. Okay, and finally we have got methods to select options from the drop down. Alright, so we can use it by text, or we can use by value, or we can see it by using by index. Alright, let me open the website now. Okay, so in here we can see one drop down field is there, which is experience in years. Okay, let me now inspect this. So when we try to inspect, we see that it has got select tag, okay, which is your static one. Fine. Now when we try to expand this, we have got option values, right? So this is your static drop down values. Okay, and let's see how we can achieve the same. Now let's create a class. Okay, and in here let's create interface. Let's create the method. And in here do the initialization. Alright, after that I want to maximize the window, which is alright. Now it's time to navigate to the URL using driver.navigate dot go to URL, and let's paste the URL here. Okay, now let's go back and see your first step. So it is telling us we need to identify drop down, right? So we can use locator to identify drop down. So let's go back to web page. So we see something as name, right? And it is unique here. So I can take this name value. So I web element drop down equals to driver dot find element by dot name, and I can give the name value. Alright, now let's look at next step. It is telling us we need to use select element class and wrap the drop down element. So for that we can create a class select element, okay, and element equals to new select element, and in here I can pass the drop down. Okay, after that we have got methods to select options from the drop down. So first it is by using text, okay, by text. So let's see how we can achieve that. So element dot select by text. Okay, so let's suppose I want to select on this text 3-5. Okay, now let's go back to main program, and from here create the object static obj equals to new static dropdown example. Now obj dot test on Chrome. Okay, now let me run the code and see what is happening now. Okay, so yeah, you can see that this 3-5 value is now selected from the drop down. Okay, so this is using by text. Now let's try to do that in a different way. So this time let's suppose I use the next step that we had was by value. Okay, so element dot select by value. So for the value you can go back to your web page and look for value. So let's suppose the value here is 5-7. So I can copy this and paste here. Alright, now let's run the code. See, now this 5-7 is getting selected. Okay, now let's try to achieve the same by the last method, by index. Okay, so in index, okay, so it is like index always start with 0. Alright, now let's suppose I go back to web page and let's suppose I want to select 7-10. So it is coming at which index? So starting with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, now let's give this 4 value there. Okay, now let me run the code and see what is happening now. So you can see that 7-10 is selected, right? So I hope guys this is clear to you, and if you have any questions please ask me over the comments. Yeah, and if you like my video please do like and subscribe. Thank you and have a great day.